Let's get into politics, shall we? Because for the last few hours, they've been busying themselves over in Westminster. Of course, looking at the outcome of the Privileges Committee, the report looking into Boris Johnson and what sanctions should be applied to him. Laughably, really, anyway, given that he's already resigned. Apparently, Theresa May, she's been speaking out, for example, she says this is a small but important step in restoring people's trust in politics. Nigel, I'll pick up with you first. I found this whole thing a little bit of a farce, actually. You're all sitting there wasting your parliamentary time debating about whether or not you would have suspended someone for 90 days who's not even there anymore. It's all pointless, isn't it?
Well, no, because it's a parliamentary procedure. So the whole point is that the committee didn't actually suspend Boris Johnson for the 90 days. Parliament has to do that. So all the committee can do is make a recommendation.
But he's already gone?
He's already gone.
So
but
what's the point?
But there are two points there. One is that that MPs turn around and say, "Yep, the report was right. The evidence was that he misled the House." That's the first stage. Second stage, obviously, is the 90 days, which can't happen because he's gone. And the final stage is to take away.
So this is how bothered they are about it, by the way, because whilst Nigel's speaking, you see in the screen there, it's hardly a packed house, is it?
No, an awful lot of Tories have stayed away. They'd rather not get involved in it. There may not even be...
That's not just the Tory side that's empty, though. Look at that.
Well, I think the Labour side have decided if the Tories aren't there, they won't be there either.
What you mean is they don't want to break into their sunshine break?
Well, perhaps they're an awful lot of them on the terrace enjoying the sunshine out there in the House of Commons.
So you think this is all well and good, that it should be happening. You disagree with me when I'm saying I think it's a complete waste of time.
Yes, it has to happen because it is the conclusion of the parliamentary process.
Dominique?
Yeah, I would agree that Parliament has to be seen to be carrying out the process. However, you know, to regular everyday people, it does look a tad performative because, I mean, most people would want Parliament to be dedicating its time urgently to the matters that face the public. But I think what's quite ironic about this is that Boris supporting media, should I say, have sort of created this idea that there's this wave of distress because Boris has been so unfairly treated, when really there's only a handful of people that actually support him in the wake of the Partygate report being published, and there's not that many people there.
I think there is actually. When I look at my inbox on a night time, you guys you're not backwards and coming forwards, and you do get in touch. A lot of these people watching this programme, for example, would say it's a bit of a witch hunt. They'll be talking about the Bernard Jenkins situation and saying, well, actually, if the people that are doing the investigation, if even they were not doing what they were supposed to have done, then the whole thing is moot, basically.
But the point is that the person in charge of making the rules didn't stick to the letter of the rules. The person in charge of making the rules lied about not knowing that the rules were being broken. And in reference to the people supporting him, I meant mostly MPs because, you know, we've heard so much noise from people like Jacob Rees-Mogg and others about how unfair this is, when really probably most Conservative MPs accept that it'd be embarrassing and harmful to the party not to acknowledge that he's done something wrong.
Well, there was another leak, I think just before the weekend or maybe over the weekend. My day's blurring into one. I don't know if you saw it. We'll bring that up in case you missed out. A little bit of dad dancing going on. I will describe this out at one of the parties. I think I've got that video to show you. Yep, there you go. This is when you lot was all sitting at home, not seeing your loved ones, being absolutely terrified, thinking that you won't be able to spend Christmas together, etc. This lot were partying like it's 1999. My overwhelming sense when I see any of these videos is you weren't afraid of COVID. You terrified the life out of us at home with your 5 o'clock briefings. You made us all think was going to go kill our grannies. And you lot, the closest to the data in lots of cases, you were not afraid.
Well, bear in mind, these aren't civil servants. These are Conservative Party staff, and they were having a party because they'd been on Sean Bailey's London mayoral campaign, which is what the party's about. The police are now having another look at this. At the time, bear in mind that the police decided, they did look into it, decided there wasn't enough evidence to fine anybody. They now have another look at the video and see if they made the right decision.
I will say
things to do with the time.
Yeah, I don't think that this is entirely fair. You know, it's a group of young people who weren't in charge of making the rules. Yes, they were staffers, but for this to be the video that does the rounds, I think, again, it's like skirting responsibility for the people who are actually making the rules. They were just being normal. And also, I feel like it's unfair because Sean Bailey was one of the first people to be in the firing line for breaking the COVID rules. He took the flak. He resigned from the Police and Crime Commission.
He's going to be in the House of Lords, isn't he?
And then this video is circulating, presumably to stop him from, you know, sitting there. But I'd like to point out, as someone who knows Sean, he doesn't drink and he wasn't there. So, you know.
Don't even get me started.
No, it's very true. He had left before that video was taken.
So just so people don't think he was there partying with everyone, he wasn't even there.
But I don't even get me started on the fact that people are getting into the House of Lords, etc., just basically for doing their jobs. I found that whole thing very bizarre.
I would agree.
Anyway, let's move on and talk about mortgages. Have you got one?